What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Scevoli Town of Tonight show, guys. I always like to bring guests on my show. I really do. I don't shy away from people. I like people until they cross me, and that's when we get a little feisty. That's when I like to bring the lightsabers out and start battling each other. And I always lose because I always have the high ground, and you know what happens when you have the high ground. And again, you lose. Yeah, we get the drift. We get it. But we have a very special guest here tonight. Michael from ICCCON, like a Nashville. I just say Nashville Con. It will be October 3rd to the 6th. He will be here discussing everything he could give us some guests. He could announce some guests that haven't been announced yet, but we don't know. We'll see what we can get out of Michael today. But before we start, make sure you guys subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scevoli Show, for more of me. Because Michael won't be here. Michael's just temporary. Or maybe he'll come back. If he likes the show so much, he's always welcome to come back. Michael, how are you?
Thank you. Hey, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. How's everything?
Wonderful. I got no complaints. Another day, had a long day, drove around a lot, but back home and excited to be on your show, man. I watched some of your shows and I like what you do, dude. I like the energy and I love the Star Wars. So thanks for doing what you do.
Don't make me cry, Michael. Michael, come on. I was not prepared. Today was the last day of school for the kids, and I cried my eyes out for them. Don't make me cry on national television. Don't make me do it. Don't do it. So, Mike, my first question to you is, I know we talked about before the show, but what does ICC mean? Because we just name it ICC Nashville, but what does it actually stand for?
Yeah, well, what it is, about 10 years ago, I started a Facebook group called The Imperial Commissary. It's for people who want to collect vintage Star Wars toys, only authentic ones. We don't allow any reproduction. We don't even allow people to cuss or fight or anything. The way I always try to explain it is that if you would get in trouble if a mom was coming down the stairs and you were having a sleepover when you were a kid, and you would get in trouble if she heard you, don't do it here. And we all cuss and we all, care about whoever's elected to whatever and whatever, but we just make sure all of that is never on the Imperial Commissary. We keep it really controlled in that way, which keeps it, there's just no fights. You know what I mean? It's all about vintage Star Wars. Whether you're this, that, or the other, it doesn't matter because we love the same thing. So we can all talk about it civilly as human beings. You know what I mean? And people started to like that. So that group grew and grew and grew. And eventually, I think we were at 5,000 or 7,000 people. And we were like, oh, I was going up to, you ever do Lexington or Lexington Comic-Con or something?
I've heard of that.
Okay.
The only cons I've been to is like New York Comic-Con, Rhode Island. I haven't really been.
Those are big ones, man.
Yeah, those are huge. Like New York is crazy. Would I do New York again? Maybe, but not even. You have to wait in those long lines. Rhode Island is one that it runs very smoothly.
Yeah.
Rhode Island Comic-Con, I go back. I try to go every year because it's only like maybe a couple hours, maybe 3.
Yeah.
For 3 days, and it's amazing. The good guests. And they have nice guests being announced now. I can't wait for more.
Nice.
But yeah, I try to stay a little local, but I want to venture out to other cons. Yours. I really want to go one year, like Rebel Scum Con. Like I really want to go there too in Texas, Florida, even Lexington. Even the small ones have such big guests, and it's like, wow. Like even Washington, I think State just announced the whole Clone Wars reunion. At the end of June, they announced Hondo, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Azaj, Maul, Bail Organa.
Washington is a no-joke con, man. They'll probably have Anakin, I would expect. I expect them to probably have Anakin and, Hayden Christensen and Ewan, probably, I would think. Or maybe they'll be able to squeeze Hamill, but I don't think so because I think he's only doing fan expos. So I don't know.
It looks like he's doing.
But no, Washington's no joke, man. He came out to my con, I think 5 years ago or something. And he was just trying to see, because we started doing a new thing with the way lines run for guest stars. So essentially it's like a ticketing system, almost like a deli. So you kind of get a ticket and you come back during your time block for most of them. And some of them you got to wait in line. They're so big, you got to, it's just part of the game. But we do these blocks, so you don't have to stand there for like 5 hours while you're waiting on XYZ autograph. You could go do other stuff and you come back in your time block section. And then there's only like 10 people or 15 people in line. So it stops because I always hated that, man. At most cons, because I'm a pretty big guy, and I don't like to be standing for like 15 hours when it's like, just tell me to come back at 1 o'clock. I'm an adult. I'll be there. You know what I mean? Like, what's the problem? We can do it at restaurants. Why can't we do it at convention? But that guy from Washington came out, and he was looking at our line system. And he was a really cool dude, man. But yeah, his con is no joke, dude. It's definitely way bigger than us. He's what is it? Then there's that other one, Seattle, the Emerald City or Emerald something. That thing's massive, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to all those cons and at least experience once in my lifetime,
Yeah, dude, you do the circuit once or twice. It's definitely fun. Yep.
It is, and I think Washington just announced Michelle Ang, Omega, the voice of Omega.
Yeah.
And it's like some rare signings, like, because she never really signed Michelle Ang. So I'm like, come to Rhode Island. I think you guys are the next steps to come closer,
Well, you know what? They got that Terrificon has been growing up there in Connecticut, man. And that's close enough to drive. They do it, I think it's at Foxwoods or something, or Mohegan. One or the other. Yeah.
I got
But it was really small 4 or 5 years ago, but it's really, really grown. I mean, there were a bunch of people. I don't know them. I'm originally from Connecticut, so I've been to it. And I remember when it was really small, but you see some of the guest stars now, and it must have grown a lot. Yeah. But that's close enough for you to even drive to, dude. And but yeah, man, definitely, if you have the time at some time, go for it, because it's fun, man. It's fun seeing the different ways, because some people, they love the pops. Or some people love the vintage figures, or some people love the autographs, or some people love the community aspect of some of them. Like ours is more that kind of community aspect, because it all started from that one Facebook group, which is now 27 Facebook groups. What happened, I was going up to that Lexington Comic-Con, and I was like, hey, everybody, I'm going up to Lexington Comic-Con. There's an IC member, an Imperial Commissary member that has a toy store up there, or a comic book shop, I think it was. And I was like, he's letting us go, and we'll have pizza. And I had the original reel of Revenge of the Jedi trailer instead of Return. And I played it on one of those old, like when we were kids at, maybe not when you were kids, you're younger than me, but when we were kids, like in school, they would have the projector. That would do the tick, 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 tick. Yeah. So we watched it on the wall, and we had, I think it was like Domino's Pizza, and everybody bought, sold, and traded. It became this thing. And that grew from the 15 people that came that time to 30 people, to 50 people, to 500 people, to 1,000 people, to tens of thousands of people now. And that's all that happened. So this one, it's, the way we are different, to say it like that, is since it stands for Imperial Commissary Collectors Convention, we do the collectibles and the rare items. So everybody, even at night, man, they all hang out all night. It's like a 3-day, 4-day sleepover, because it's all the same hotel and the same people, and then you have like live music, and you got everybody hangs out at night. They come out, they do the room sales. A lot of people open up their room door, and they'll put, like, in the elevator lobby, they'll stick up a sign, and this has nothing to do with me. It's just the community aspect that happens at night. I go to bed at like 6 o'clock, man. I ain't there. But they'll put up a sign in the elevator, and it'll just have a ton of room numbers, and it'll say, this one is, and it'll have all the room numbers. If you want your room to be open, you write your room number on the sheet in the elevator. So say you get in the elevator, and there'll be a ton of room numbers, and you just pick one, and anyone you go to, they're doing something, whether it's like they're selling toys or they're trading toys. I walked by one room, man. It was 2 years ago at this hotel. I walked by one room and they had an entire poker table set up. And they were all playing cards, right? But there was no money on the table. It was just vintage Star Wars figures. And that was really cool to see, you know? But that's the kind of stuff that happens all night long into the day. We even have the guys who do Boonta Eve that are going to come put on karaoke with movie stars at night one night. Yeah, it's cool. We have the Skywalkers. They do a burlesque show thing, but I'm asleep, so it's got nothing to do with me once again. But they do a great job. No, it's super fun, man. It's really like, you know, and that's why I was saying before, you got to experience a bunch of different conventions, and then you find out what you love about conventions. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we have the movie stars, and we have the toys, and we have pops, and we have this, and we have that. But we're the kind of one where if you get a VIP ticket, you get your food all weekend included. You get free sodas all weekend. There's pie. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of, it's more like a hangout convention than like a corporate-y convention. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. And we get free pie if we get the VIP pass.
Yeah. VIP has free pie. Dude, that's how you want to hear his funny story. All right. So 2018, right? I'm throwing my first convention and my sales pitch is, hey, my name's Mike Havens. Come on down to ICCC. And that's before I started the ICCCON, you know, which is way better. But you learn. And I was like, come on down to ICCC. I'm putting William Shatner in a barn in Franklin, Tennessee. And I put William Shatner in a barn in Franklin, Tennessee, man. And we had our VIP night special experience thing. It was hilarious, but it was ice cream sundaes with Shatner, and everybody just sat down, you know, and they sat in the chairs and they all made their ice cream sundaes, and then Shatner sat there and did a Q&A while everybody had ice cream. Man, those are the kind of weird things we do, you know, and it's different because who doesn't like ice cream, right?
And who doesn't like William Shatner?
Who doesn't like William Shatner? Dude, William Shatner, consummate professional. He was absolutely amazing to work with, and dude, I'm telling you, I don't know how he does it. He was, at the time, I think he was like 88, 89, something like that. And I'm like exhausted, you know, because we're doing the con. And I take the guest stars out to a nice dinner one night, you know, just to be like, hey, how you doing? And stuff like that, you know, buy a mistake so they know they're not going to starve while they're hanging out at the show. And I remember it was like, shoot, man, it had to be 11 o'clock at night, and there's William Shatner pounding through a steak. And I'm like, dude, if I ate that right now, I would be like up for the next day and a half. But he's just a champion, man. And he was an amazing guest star. But we've had tons of guest stars, tons of movie stars. And we have tons every year. I mean, 20 to 40 movie stars every year. And most are Star Wars because it all started from that Imperial Commissary, which was the Facebook group. And it's grown and grown and grown.
It started from that group, and now look at it now.
Yeah, totally. It's crazy. Dude, in real life, I have a trucking company. I move containerized freight out of Kearney, New Jersey. Like, I don't drive the trucks, but I do the logistics.
Hey, Mike, if you're ever in New Jersey, let me know.
Yeah, for sure, man. I do come up there for work, definitely. You a Yankee fan or a Met fan or something terrible?
I don't really watch baseball, but they're Yankees. I could say.
All right, cool. I come up once a year or twice a year for a Yankee game, so I'm definitely up there.
Send me a message and we'll get together.
For sure.
Go to the Yankee game. I used to play baseball. I think baseball is very boring. To me, I think it's very. To me, like I used to play it, so I used to be like just sitting there on the bench, like, oh my god, just hit the ball or strike this out. Come on, I'm bored. I want to go home. You know, but yeah, let me know. I'm always down to do different things. But my next question to you, Mike, is so you had all these movie guests, voice actors, animation artists. Did you ever, when you booked an artist or a movie star or a voice actor, did you freak out when you met them? Like, who is your one celebrity for how many years you ever done this, like that you freaked out, not freaked out, but you were like, oh my god, we got her or him?
Oh man, I mean, it happens regularly, but I mean it happened even the first time. Like Shatner was bonkers. The first time I got Daniel Logan, because I'm like friends with Daniel Logan. Like Daniel Logan's like in my phone book, and I text him and video chat with him. Like it's nuts. And I'm a huge Boba Fett collector. I love Boba. No, like I don't know, man. You know what was crazy? One day my phone rings and it was John Rhys Davies, who played Gimli and played Sala from Indiana Jones,
yes,
and Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. But he called, my phone rings and it just says, a phone number from and it was like some European number where it starts like 004489, you know what I mean? And so I picked it up. I'm like, hello. And he goes, hello, my good man. This is John Rhys Davies. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. Cause he sounded just like he sounds, which was kind of a trip. And then I don't know, man, like when we got the Emperor, that was nuts. Ian McDermott, he's huge. And I became really good friends with him, dude. Like we were out at Celebration in Anaheim and he took me backstage for the Galaxy's Edge thing, dude. And
wow.
I rode Rise of the Resistance with the Emperor. And I'll tell you, that was a trip. Because I'm literally sitting in the seat on that bench right next to the Emperor of everything you're looking at, and that was a trip.
Did you hear the sad story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Darth Plagueis the Wise? Well, it depends. Do you think it was a sad story?
Hey, it was a tragedy.
It could go either way, though, if you think about it. But he was a trip. Anthony Daniels was awesome. I mean, C-3PO. Yeah. It was cool again. I like to do things where I have a theme that I don't release, but you figure it out when you get there. Like you were saying, when I had Ashley Eckstein and James Arnold Taylor, Matt Landner, Anna Graves, a whole bunch of people from Clone Wars. I did that one 3 years ago. Last year I did everybody from Rebels right before Ahsoka came out. And everybody came and they're like, oh, how did you have any idea? And dude, it was hilarious because you remember when Zeb was in whatever?
Yeah, the Mandalorian.
The Mando, yeah. And Zeb was at the bar. Literally, my convention was the next week, and I had Zeb. And people were like, what? How did you know? And I'm like, well, dude, I mean, I'm an actual Star Wars nerd instead of just some, corporate guy doing numbers. This is the thing. And I picked all of them because, dude, if you've watched Rebels enough, you've got to know that if they're talking Ahsoka and they're talking Thrawn, that the Rebels are going to show up.
Yeah.
The only one we lost was Kanan, and all the rest, they still got to be out there in the galaxy somewhere. We saw the ghost at the end of what was the
Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. So that's what I'm saying. It's if you're a super nerd, you should have known that, but dude, everybody thought I was some kind of genius, and I'm just well, didn't you know? I mean, Ahsoka's coming out, man.
Did you read
did you watch Rebels a little? But that was really cool. They were super cool, man. And I've had some people from outside of Star Wars too, but Star Wars is really where it's at for us, and that's just because we're huge Star Wars collectors and Star Wars nerds,
Now, you're a huge collector. So what is your prize, your most valuable that you'll never get rid of? Someone will have to kill you for it. What is that in your collection?
Well, I've got two answers for this. The one that everybody wants to hear is I have the Boba Fett from the pictures on the box. So the actual one from Kim Simmons. And that's what people always want to hear. The vinyl cape Jawa, I think, is pretty expensive, but that's my wife. She's got a Jawa Focus. But my favorite, man, and I have actually a massive collection. I've got a lot of Boba Fett's. And I love Boba Fett's, and I think they're awesome. But the one that, if the house was burning down, I'd grab, it's actually it's an AFA graded, but it's a 60, and it's a B-Wing pilot, and it's a piece of crap. It is a garbage card. It is practically worthless. It's worth probably $150 on a good day. Probably $100 to be honest. But I bought it when I was a little kid. Because see, when I was born in 1980, so when I was little, you were already a collector. By the time I was 8, 9, 10 years old, it was over. You know what I mean? So we used to watch it at sleepovers with my friends. We used to collect the toys, and we used to find them at antique stores and stuff like that. Or we get my brother, I got his stuff. You know what I mean? But that B-Wing pilot was the first time, because it was before the internet, but it was the first time I ever saw a carded Star Wars figure with a coin on it. So it had this gold coin, right? And I'm like, holy crap, I found this prototype pre-production. It's super duper rare. This is going to set me up forever. I go, I'm going to take care of it. And dude, I tried to take care of it the best I could take care of it. Like, you know, plastic wrap and this, that, and the other. Cause it wasn't like just get a star case and throw it in a star case and it's fine.
You can't do that.
Yeah, they didn't have them at the time. So I like tried to take care of it best I could, man. When I got it back, it was the first thing I ever sent in for grading. And it came back as a 60 grade because it got yellow and it got destroyed and it got a crease in it. But man, I'm telling you, and now come to find out it's like the most common Power to Force card. There was an entire line of Power to Force. There's like 35 different cards or 45 different cards with coins on them. And you know what I mean? Like, but I didn't know at the time, and it was before the internet, so you couldn't just Google it. You had to just know what it was, and I never saw one before. So that is actually the one that I would grab, even though I have lots of stuff way more valuable. It's not always about the $30, $40, $50,000 item as much as it's about the, man, I do this because I love Star Wars. I love collecting, you know what I mean? So that one definitely has the most memories attached to it. So I would definitely take that one. Everything else can be replaced. I mean, I got insurance. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of things in my room are like not like some like the cards. Like I like collecting like my favorite characters like cards like from Topps or something like that. Like they're only $10.
Yeah.
And, like I just get it signed. I like getting things signed in my name to keep it. Like, because I'm never gonna sell it, you know. I want it. If I'm buying an autograph, it's for me. It's not.
Yeah, that's me too. I always get it made out to me. Or else, actually, what I do is with all my guest stars, I have like a Star Wars shirt that's made out of the curtains from back in the day in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And it looks really cool. And I walk around on the last day, and all the guest stars sign the shirt. So the shirt's got to probably have 100 autographs on it now. It's cool, man. But that's where I get my autographs, and that's like worthless. Who's ever gonna need a gigantic Star Wars shirt with 1 million autographs on it? You know what I mean?
Correct.
But I do, and I like it. So whatever. Yeah. That's all. Dude, it is not about what other people think is cool or valuable or special. It's about whatever you like, man. Yeah.
We go to these cons, have fun, meet the people, and go out for a nice bang. Go out with a bang.
Yeah.
So, Mike, my next question to you, we're talking guests.
Yeah.
Now, can you talk about who might be there? I know some guests were announced, a couple.
Yeah, I've only announced 3 so far. There's going to be, I think it's 25. Well, that's not really counting the Kenner people and stuff like that. Like, we also bring in, like, toy designers from Kenner, from like the old toy designers that made the Star Wars line, or like we have the guy Ron Rudat who made pretty much all the artwork for the old GI Joes, made the Cobra logo. But we have those kind of people come too. But for guest stars, I think it's 23 to 25 or something that we're working on for this year. We've announced a few of them. They're all contracted, so I don't need guest stars or anything if anybody's watching. But I will always take them for the Rolodex for next year. No, we're all set up, man. We've only released 3. We've released our badge artist because we have these collectible badges that everybody gets a collectible badge. They're a hard plastic badge, and it has like an artwork on it. So we pick an art designer each year to do our badge line. And they're really, really cool. And he was our first release. And that's Jeremiah Pintoya. And he's Artistic Lifestyle. He's won some awards for that. But he is a fixture at ICCCON. And he's been an admin of the IC for like 12 years. And see here, I have a weird thing. I don't ever ask anyone to do anything. And the reason why is because I want them to want to do something. Do you know what I mean? Yes. So Jeremiah, the first time he's reached out and asked if he could do badges was this year. And of course, his artwork's great. So of course, I wanted him to since like year 1, you know. But the first time he ever reached out was this year, and he's like, "Dude, I wanted to do it since year 1." And I was like, "But you never just said you did." You know, and you don't want to go to your artist buddy and be like, "Bro, make me 8 badges. They have to be these specs," and you know. Like,
you showed me them earlier. They were really good.
Oh yeah. There's always a different artist, and these are some of them: Bumblebee, Mumra, Oh, Grogu.
I like the Grogu one.
Yeah, he's a cute one. He was a staff one for that year. Staff for last year we did Cad Bane. But yeah, there's so we announced the badge artist. He was the first, and then the next was Amy Allen. I released Amy Allen. She played Aya Sakura, the Blue Twi'lek in what was it? The first one, Phantom Menace, or no, Menace. Attack of the Clones.
Revenge of the Sith.
Thank you. I was getting there, man, slowly.
It's been a long day. I understand. It's been a long day.
She's cool. Actually, the reason why I met her, I ran into her, was because when the Emperor did take me to the Disney World, which is like crazy thing to say, but when he did, she was there. She came with us, like he invited her, and she was there with her kids, and we like hit it off. And she was like, "Well, if you ever want me at your con, here's my number." And so I just wrote her, and I was like, "I'm throwing another one. You want to come?" She's like, "Yeah, totally. I'll be there." So she's super cool. That's like the prerequisite for everybody we bring. They have to be super cool with the fans, man. I don't want anybody that's like grumpy that they're there. Like, I mean, you're in Star Wars, and there's people paying you money to write your name on a piece of paper. Be happy about it.
Yeah, we're paying you like hundreds of bucks to sign.
That's yeah, like come on.
You better be smiling.
Smile, yeah.
I'm giving you my money.
Yeah, and then we got Chris Bartlett, because I love Chris. He's super great with the fans, and also he's like every single droid in everything now.
He is.
He's the ultimate.
I've been trying to get him on this show for years.
Yeah, he's super nice, man. He works a lot though. That's the thing with Chris Bartlett, because he like. Not only all the droids, right? But he also is like randomly like an Imperial gunner, or randomly. You remember the dude that was playing the flute on Mandalorian? That's Chris. That's Chris Bartlett. Yeah. Like he just is always randomly inserted. So I think he just works so much. You know what I mean? Because he's always doing something. Like even when I write him, it's like 2 or 3 days, and he's always like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you." And I'm like, "Dude, I know you're busy, man. You're running around. It's nothing important. What kind of candy bar you like? It's stuff like that." And then Garrick Hagen we just released, who's Biggs Darklighter. So Red 3 from A New Hope. And that's going to be something to do with our theme. I'll actually talk about that here. But our theme for this year, because I always do a theme. That's why you see Clone Wars or all the Rebels or stuff like that. But Garrick is part of our theme this year. And we're going with some of the old school 4, 5, 6 actors that have either never signed in America or very, very seldom signed in America. Because, see, I'm in a very unique position. Like, you know how New York Comic Con can have everybody on the planet? Because you guys happen to have JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark Airport?
Yeah.
Well, all right. I happen to have Nashville International Airport, and it's a good-sized airport. It's not the biggest in the world, but the year I started putting on this con, they put in a direct flight from Europe, from the UK. So I have access to, because I have a lot of friends in England and stuff like that with the Facebook group. So I have access to English guest stars that usually they don't come here. Like if you're going to have a convention in Idaho, there is no direct flight from Idaho to the United Kingdom.
Correct.
It's New York, Miami, or New York, LA, Miami, maybe Orlando, Chicago, and Nashville for some unknown reason. I think they just like country music over there or something, but they put in a lane, dude, and it's right there. And it's, man, that's how I'm able to get the kind of guest stars I can, where it's like Anthony Daniels and Ian McDermott. That's insane for a con our size. Yeah. But they do well because we're very focused on Star Wars and we have the community aspect. But they can also get on their nice flight from Heathrow straight through. And it's so convenient. So what we're doing this year is we are focusing on 4, 5, and 6. And one of the major reasons why is the actors and actresses from 4, 5, and 6 are getting a little bit older. And there's going to be a point where they can't make that intercontinental flight. So I'm going to keep releasing some amazing stars from new stuff too, but also mostly from 4, 5, and 6 this year. We're trying to make it a really, really special one for all us old fogies. And it's going to be really cool, man. I will tell you about a guest star I haven't released yet that will be released in the next day or so here. But we're getting in. This is also starting to fit in with that theme that nobody knows, but I just told you and your viewers. But it'll fit in with that theme. It's going to be Paul Blake, and he's the guy who played Greedo. So we will have Greedo at our convention, which is very, very cool. Greedo's a fan favorite. If you don't know who he is, he's the green guy who actually never originally got a blaster bolt off. If you check the old movies, Han Solo used to be a cool, cold, collected individual, but nowadays I guess he's just lucky, huh? Is that how it works with the 2 blaster bolts above him? Yeah. Han Solo was the only one to shoot, man. Greedo rolled up to his table. He was like, "No." Bam.
I don't like you.
But they had to even that out for the special editions, but I like that, Greedo. But yeah, Greedo will be there. So he is a guest star that I could tell you about, Paul Blake. And he's another one, England. So I don't know the last time he signed in America.
I like
10 years, 15 years.
You're getting like international art. Like you don't like even with like Thrawn and his brother, they all live in like
Nicholson's live out there. Pretty much everybody does, dude. They always do everything in at the London soundstage and everything. That's where they tape like all this stuff almost.
And I'm like, when are you guys gonna do cons over here? Like Thrawn, I want to meet my Grand Admiral. I want to meet him. Maybe he'll be at Nashville this year. I don't know if you played a part. I know you can't tell me that.
I can't tell you more things. I already gave you one thing. I wasn't supposed to do that, so.
Don't worry, this won't be out until days after you announce full play.
Yeah, there you go. But no, I love Grand Admiral Thrawn, man. I love Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn is the reason why the franchise stayed alive during the dark times. He gave us books to read. So yeah, I'm a big Thrawn fan. I would say Thrawn is probably my favorite character. My favorite collectible is Boba Fett. But yeah, Grand Admiral Thrawn is my favorite character.
Oh wow, he's not my favorite, but he's my favorite villain, if I could say this.
Nope. Favorite character. He is the best.
Character, I could say that.
He is the best one at Star Wars, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I love Grand Admiral. I just can't get enough.
Dude, it's the Imperial Commissary Collectors Convention, It's not the Rebel Commissary Collectors Convention over here.
I love him in Rebels. Ahsoka, they made him really fat. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, that was weird, man. I think it was like an artist choice on that one. But you know what? All right, here. You want my guess?
Yeah.
Okay. So Thrawn's like tattered, right? And like out of shape a little bit and blah, 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 blah on Ahsoka. They're going to fly back, and the next time you're going to see Thrawn, he's going to walk out in a crispy outfit, and he's going to be slim and like, bam. Like, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're like, well, he's off in like way far space, and like nobody cares, and there's not enough of this or enough of that or enough time to train or whatever. And I think when he comes back, he's going to be just so slick. Yes, he should have been crisper. And I'm sorry, the actor that plays him is not that thick. So they did something with padding, so that's why I think they'll come back in season 2, and then Thrawn will be like, Thrawn. Like, dude, even get in there. I seen him do the makeup with the cosplay, like, and they can make whatever. Like, just give him some, like, little of that where it's like.
Because I looked at it, I was like, he's not that fat, the actor. I said, I don't.
No, yeah, that's why I think they padded him up, so that way when he does have some actual Imperial credits in his pocket, he's going to look clean. Right now, he's having zombie stormtroopers cut his hair, man. He's doing the best he can.
Yeah, and the witches are doing some spells over there. So Grand Admiral Thrawn is your favorite Star Wars character.
Yep.
What are your top 3?
Top 3, I'd say Grand Admiral Thrawn, Boba Fett, and Han Solo.
And why?
Why Grand Admiral Thrawn is, no matter what's going on, he's able to handle it, and not only handle it, but know in advance the best ways to handle all the outcomes of all situations. I'm really a lot like that. I guess that's why it makes me I don't want to say a good convention promoter, but it makes me a good convention promoter. It's a bonkers amount of logistics. My real job is logistics. I constantly am thinking of all the different outcomes and how to correct or fix any problems that come up out of those issues. And I kind of think that's what Grand Admiral Thrawn is. He's just great at it. You know what I mean? He's the best at it. So that's why I like him. Boba Fett, man, I thought Boba Fett was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life when I was a little kid. I used to, when I was growing up, I used to like medieval knights. You know, you read the books in the library, you take out the library books, they got the medieval knights in it, and then the armor and the blah, blah, blah. Dude, he's essentially a medieval knight with a rocket pack, with darts, with shooting string weapon things. I mean, he's a medieval knight with like rockets and blasters. It's perfection. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm drawn to Boba Fett. He's just the coolest. And also, I don't know if you ever read Kevin J. Anderson. He did Bounty Hunter Tales or Tales from Jabba's Palace. One of those two. It's an older book. I'd say probably like 25 years old now. But it had the story of Boba Fett in there. And Boba Fett was like... Boba Fett is... did you see the new show Shogun by any chance?
I heard of it, but not watched it.
All right, people are liking it a lot, but it was he's like a calm, cool, collected ninja warrior kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like in those books, the way it talks about him is he has his own code. Even though he's a bounty hunter, he's very, very strict, you know? Much like what they've done with The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian style is a lot of stuff that Boba Fett would be in the Kevin J. Anderson books from back in the day. So that's why I really liked him. Both those guys, as you can see, have a very close, even though they're very different, their personalities are kind of very similar. Boba Fett is always expecting what's going to happen next, or expecting the unexpected. And then Han Solo, I like Han Solo, man, because he is the unexpected. That's Han Solo to me, man. You never know what he's gonna do. He's a rogue, a troublemaker, but he's also, I don't know. Everybody's got a friend like Han Solo, and if you don't, you're the friend that's like Han Solo.
Definitely.
You know, it's He's good. He's loyal. He's strong. He's kind. Nothing phases him or makes him scared. But he's also, I don't know, like he'll fill his hole with a bunch of contraband too. Like, you know, but you know, he'll show up to your birthday. But
nice stuff.
Yeah, sure enough. So that's why I like Han Solo. Yep.
Now, Mike, my final question to you before we end the show is, what does ICCCON mean to you? And what do you want people to get from this con? Like, if I'm going to go, what do you want me, as I walk out the 3 days or the 4 days you guys have it, like me thinking about? Like, what do you want to leave with that person? Yeah,
I want you to come. I want you to get new friends that love what you love. Over the age of 30, man, it's extremely difficult to make new friends. And this convention, the way it's set up, the way people are a community, the way the community has grown so much, and the way they spend time together, whether it's swag or merch or, I don't know, like, I mean, even like whether it's challenge coins, you know what I mean? Like, these are all the different years of challenge coins, but whatever it is that brings you together. If it's Star Wars, that's wonderful. That's what we need more of in this world, is people being together. We need more people getting new friends. And man, I always tell people this, because I do get this question, and I don't want you to get that autograph. I don't want you to, you know, make money selling toys. Well, I do, you know, of course, but that's not what it's for. Dude, it is so hard to make a new friend after 30. It's so hard.
I think
I've made more friends.
They don't want to talk to anybody. They're all about this.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, you come out and you're there listening to a band in the courtyard by the pool, and while people are buying, selling, and trading toys, you won't see a cell phone out. Unless it's somebody taking a picture. But that's it. I mean, it's an anomaly, man. It's a fun hangout space, and you don't want to be away from it on your phone. And I'm telling you, I always say it, you know, come to ICCCON, because we have this one group. It's Oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's not my group. It's a fan group of ICCC, and it's people that come that are coming alone. So they just show up. And what happens is, I always say on there, I go, if you come to ICCC, I guarantee you will make new friends, because it's what we all do. You're walking into, it's like, imagine if you only spoke Italian, okay? And Italian's the only language you spoke your whole life, the only language you ever heard, ever. And then you move to America where nobody speaks it. And then all of a sudden, you walked into a building and everybody there speaks Italian. How good would that feel? And that's what it is. Everybody there speaks Star Wars. You're not going to be able to be like, oh, did you see the Clone Wars with blah, 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 blah? And yeah, of course, you know? And then you can have
I watched it 8 times.
Then you have a conversation about it. Then you have a couple beers with your new friend about it. And then all of a sudden you guys are going on cruises together or Disney vacations. You know what I mean? I can't walk around anymore, and I love it. But I'll go to Disney or something, and I'll try to wear no logos, even my hats and stuff, because people are constantly, hey, how you doing, Mike? And blah, blah, blah. And I love that. And they still catch me like, dude, I was even at Disney, dude. I made the most rookie mistake ever. I wore a new pair of flip-flops, shredded my feet. So I'm sitting there on a bench by Ratatouille, right? And my wife's running around trying to find Band-Aids, which like not every Disney person has, which is a weird thing. And she ran into the guy that runs the group in England that knew us, and he was like, Andrea, how you doing? And he had the Band-Aids. But that's the kind of stuff that happens not just to me. It happens more often to me, but not just to me. It happens to everybody with this community. Because, dude, you should see, on the Facebook groups and stuff, people would be like, hey, man, I'm going to Hawaii. Anybody out there? Any good vintage shops? And somebody would be like, hey, man, I live out here. Come see my collection. Do you know what I mean? And those kind of things make these long-lasting friendships all after the age of 30, which is insane. I mean, I've made more friends, and I've always been very lucky in the friends and very blessed in the friends aspect of things. Maybe because I talk forever, but the way people make lasting friendships from this thing is amazing, and it makes me feel really good. In today's day and age, man, it's tough.
It is.
None of that is here. No one talks about it at this convention. That is not nobody talks about it around the bonfire. You know what I mean? It doesn't come up. They talk about Clone Wars. You know, they'll let you know about Ahsoka for sure. But yeah, none of that nonsense happens. And that's what I really love about it. It allows people to just put that stuff on the shelf and find new friends. I always tie up most of my videos that I do on the Facebook pages. And I say, it takes 3 things to be a good IC member. It's you got to teach, you got to learn, and you've got to grow the hobby. Those are the 3 things. Because all of us, man, I learned from you guys. You guys learned from me. You got to teach and you've got to learn. That's so important, because there's a lot of teachers out there that don't want to be told anything. You know what I mean? And you have to grow the hobby. And people like you that do podcasts like this or Graphcasts or whatever the heck they're calling it nowadays, but they grow this hobby. And that's why I love being on podcasts like this, man. And I love what you're doing, and keep up the great work. I really appreciate it.
Don't make me cry again, Mike. Don't do it. Don't do it. But thank you. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to ask you one more question, because I know a lot of people like myself have asked this question, and I think I am in the Facebook group for send-ins for the con. So if someone just say it's Ashley Eckstein and they want to send in a poster, do you guys do send-ins, or you guys are I know you guys work with a guy, his name is Rip, right? Rip?
Kip. Yeah, we work with Kip over the years. Kip does come, and we don't stop anybody from doing that. But we do have a in-house thing that does it as well. It's going to be the same one that does the photo ops. It's International Convention Memories. You can search it, internationalconventionmemories.com. There's no new information yet because it's still too far out. But what they'll do is they'll have all the guest stars. Because see, most conventions they'll do. There's a couple that are contracted that you can't do, but we can still do some of those because we have someone on site that goes and buys the autograph. So for all our guest stars, you can get whatever it is you want signed, as long as it's not like a car. Don't send us a car. Nobody wants to deal with it. But you could send like a glove compartment. But but it's International Convention Memories. They handle it all, and what they do is they have guys that take your stuff in, right? And then what they do is they actually walk it to the guest star at the table. We don't do the secret back room, so you get a garbage autograph or it goes too quick, or you get half of your autograph on one picture and the other half is on the other picture next to it. We actually have a human do it. So they'll do the best they can for you. I mean, nothing ever runs as perfect as it can. Autographs scare me. That's why. Go to International Convention Memories. Ask them. I am technically not in charge of the send-in autograph service. But they're really good guys. They do a great job. And they've done our photo ops for 4 years. And they're just starting to branch out into send-ins. But they're on site and they do a great job. And they're also collectors. That's the one special thing is collectors handle your stuff. It's not somebody making $10 an hour. You know what I mean? It's somebody that cares about the same things you care about. Yeah.
People that love it. Mike, thank you so much for joining me on the Scevoli Tonight Show. Give it up for Mike, everybody.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And guys, just so you know, the tickets are available now for Nashville ICCCON. Head over. I'll put the link in the bio. It is October 3rd to the 6th. I think it's a Friday, right? October 3rd is a
Thursday. It's 4-day con this year.
4 days.
Yep.
It's till Sunday, so get your 4-day passes or your 3-day passes. 2 days. You want to go the weekend. They have so many guests coming. We just announced another one here. Stay tuned to their Instagram. That's where you will find it, or their Facebook group. I will put all the links in the bio for you guys to go follow, support, buy your tickets. And Mike, you're doing great things over there. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Might cry. But you're welcome on the Scevoli Tana Show anytime. Even the Scevoli Tana Tonight Show, you're always welcome to come back and talk Star Wars with me. For the shows, the breakdowns, anything, you're always welcome on my show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for joining us on the Scevoli Tonight Show with Michael from ICCCON. Like I said, I'll put all the links in the bio. Guys, subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scevoli Tana Show, and be kind to one another, and may the fools be with you, my friends. Always. Bye!
In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.